The Berghof project is an area in a northern district of Berlin. It's a conglomeration of approximately 10 buildings, and they're all part of a military installation which was built in the late 1800s, 1890 approximately. It was a site for production of military equipment. Like, for example, the building that we're in at the moment was a uniform factory. It's been empty for a long time, since before the Second World War, as a matter of fact. And it was squatted in the 1970s by some artists, some of which are still there today. And then our site had to go to auction, and through a number of coincidences, we ended up as a collective be able to buy the site and all the buildings on it. And since then, we are sort of building a community of people of very varied backgrounds, a lot of artists still, architects, designers, film people, musicians, but also writers, journalists, photographers, all sorts of people who have been contributing to this community, if you like.
Many of them actually live in one building and work in another, which is quite interesting. So in the morning one sees a lot of pedestrian traffic of people crossing over from one site to another, as indeed we do. We live in another building and work here. And we've built two buildings here, one being the stainless steel one, House 6, and the other concrete and grey render building at the beginning of the site. And there's a third new building made by some other architects, Augustin and Frank, in concrete, which is the studio of Katharina Grosser, the artist. But what is quite nice is the materiality of these projects is always in contrast both to the Prussian brickwork and also to themselves. So there's shiny, reflective stainless steel, there's concrete, and there's a grey render. So there's always a bit of individuality. Nonetheless, they definitely form a sort of coherent group, mostly on account of the outside spaces that binds them together, plus the activities that take place within these semi-private spaces of people stopping to chat or having lunch or using part for their outside workshop.
And House 6 now is a residential experimental building, or it's a mixture between residence and working, a sort of loft building that we very much saw as a contribution to the general problem that is prevalent not just in Berlin but in all over Europe, which is to provide housing that is affordable and also starts to meet the requirements of present users.
So it's a very lively relationship between the front doors of each unit and the life on the semi-private street.
It's a kind of a mini site for testing new ways of developing the city, if you like, new ways of developing housing and working particularly together in close proximity, cohabitation of people of different ages and different kind of orientations. It's really like it's like a sort of magic transformation of one of those blocks, if you like, into something that's quite playful.